And welcome to No Assembly Required Podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing, and I go to war with the entire internet. And now your trio of hosts, starting with Audrey, burn this thing down, Ember, sus as hell, Romina, and your dark lord of the interwebs, Roberto Blake. Welcome to No Assembly Required Podcast, filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. Please like, subscribe, do all of the things. Oh, and no dislikes.
Yeah,
because they're going away anyway.
Oh yeah, give us a thumbs down, guys.
If you are going to tap the dislike button, make sure you do it twice.
For posterity's sake. Do we even want to address the elephant in the room, talk about that?
Yeah, I actually want
to. Are we
because
over
actually,
it? I think Audrey's over it.
I achieved the bucket list
I'll talk
item.
about it briefly.
Well, I achieved the bucket list item. I was actually featured briefly via a tweet on the Philip DeFranco show about the fact that YouTube is removing the dislike counter, and that, in my opinion, in 6 months, no one will give a damn. It'll be normal like everything. And then also, I think that the people defending it are defending their own individual use case, and I think some of it is well-intentioned. I think most of it is intellectual laziness. Think about it. We literally have misinformation and conspiracy theories that are wildly popular and accurate information that's wildly unpopular, and we can see that things that are accurate are massively disliked. Dislikes have no context. I could dislike a video that has accurate information because maybe I don't like the audio, or maybe I have a personal beef with the creator, or they said one thing to offend me. So dislikes have no real context. They don't. So they're meaningless, and they have no real utility value. But here's the thing.
But what about when
Did you watch Marquez's video?
Not yet. My video will probably include a response to him and probably to CoffeeZilla or whoever. But here's the thing. I get why people think that it has utility value, and maybe for them. Look, I was a tutorial creator. I made hundreds of tutorials. Tutorials are almost all I watch on YouTube. And you know what I do? Here's what I do. I watch something and I make up my own damn mind about whether it's good or bad. I don't take the opinion of, at a glance, strangers on the damn internet, because I'm not intellectually lazy, but I'm also not a multimillionaire, so maybe my time is just not so precious that I need to save that extra time. I can watch, if something's important enough, I can watch it and I can risk being disappointed and make up my own damn mind.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Like when I hear that argument, it makes sense in my mind. You know, when people are like, I see like the dislike to like ratio, and I know that the video isn't worth clicking on, or a tutorial is probably not very good. But the thing is that, yes, I understand that, but I think that I have never run into that issue because more often than not, I don't even look at the amount of likes or dislikes a video has. I just click on the video because I'm quickly looking up how to do XYZ. And so I just click on it. And then once I'm inside and I see, oh, this video sucks, then I look at the dislike and I'm like, oh, it has a bunch of dislikes. Whoops. But it's not like it ever saves me from anything because
I feel like I'm
the
opposite. I actually do that. Like I look at the dislike sometimes first. Won't even watch a video. Like it's normally for tutorials. Like I won't watch a video if it has
but my eyes don't go there.
I get the logic. Look, I understand people's logic in defending this. I'm saying, how the hell do you know based off of other people's opinion? Like, how many times have critics
why are you sound so angry?
Because I am angry, because I'm reading some bullshit comments in the Philip DeFranco video of people literally, watch this. There's a bullshit comment from this dude named that Roberto Blake dude is one of those financial channels, which I'm not even a financial channel, that screw over a good percentage of his audience. Obviously, he wants the dislikes gone. First of all, you jackass, I have not had a video with less than 90% dislike ratio.
That comment was about you?
Yeah, it was about me, right? So he made an extraordinary claim, and he has 165 likes on this thing.
All right, tell me who
he made an extraordinary claim.
I'll find him.
No, he made an extraordinary claim with not a shred of proof. He made
Audrey and I are going to show up.
He made a claim that I'm a scammer with no proof. He said I screw over a large percentage of my audience. He made an extraordinary claim, used specific language, and no goddamn proof whatsoever, proving my exact point that strangers on the internet, his literal name is Orange, He uses an avatar. He has no credibility. And he's making an extraordinary claim about me who uses my real name and real face without any proof. The dislike thing is meaningless to me personally.
But maybe, Roberto, maybe his avatar is an NFT.
Fair enough. But here's the thing. Like, I don't have a stake in the dislike button going away or going away. You know why? Because for the last 500 videos over the last 5 years, have only had 5 videos over the last 500 uploads that have less than a 90% like ratio. So why the hell do I need dislikes to go away? 5 seconds of research can show you that I have no skin in the game when it comes to dislikes because I don't get dislikes. Period. I have, like, look at my last 100 videos, and there's like 2 of them that have less than 90% likes. There is nothing for me to give a shit about with this. My legitimacy shouldn't even be in question off of that by the logic of these people that you need dislikes for scam videos and you need dislikes for bad information. Well, guess what? That doesn't apply to me because literally 99% of my content has 90% like ratios for the last 10 goddamn years.
All right, this is a good question from Summer in the chat. Do you guys actively dislike or like videos personally? Like every single video you watch, do you guys ever hit the like or the dislike button while you're watching?
I feel like I rarely ever dislike something. I really will only dislike it if, again, it's a horrible tutorial or if it's, I don't know, a video I don't like. I don't dislike them often, though. I feel like maybe I've disliked like a Logan Paul apology video or something in the past. Like that's about it. Like I don't really dislike stuff. I'll just kind of move on. I like videos pretty often though, when it's like something that I think stands out a little bit.
Or that you want to see more of.
Yeah. It's kind of my way to like tell a creator, like, I really liked this.
I don't really dislike videos, and I also don't really leave negative comments on videos. And you know why? Because if a video is something that I don't like, if a video is something I don't like, or something like that, it's very rare that I end up watching it in the first place because I don't waste my time on stuff that I believe that I'm going to dislike. And again, my ability to vet things that are going to be useful and helpful to me is pretty good and pretty accurate. And I don't really need other people's, if I need other people's opinion, you know what I do? If I can't make up my own mind about something, I go to someone I trust and I ask their recommendation on it, whether it's a video, a buying decision, a purchase, a review. I go to people that I can rely on and ask their opinions of something if I want an opinion outside my own. I use my own best judgment on things, which means that I don't encounter videos that I end up feeling the need to dislike or to leave something negative on. So the thing is, I don't really have a reason to do that. And here's the thing. I don't, look, you know why this is like maybe, and again, I might be a minority in this. You know why I don't worry and I don't care? I think that they're bad and there are bad people and bad actors. You know why I don't worry about scams? It's really simple. One, I'm not desperate. I don't try to get rich quick. I'm not a fucking moron with my money. I'm financially disciplined. And I also know how to do a goddamn chargeback. So I'm not worried about being scammed because I'm not an idiot with my money in the first place. And I don't buy things I don't need. And I don't need somebody else to change my life. I'll do it myself like I always have. So I don't need some guru. So I don't, guess what? I don't gotta worry about Jack. And well, that's you, Roberto, and everything like that. So it's like, I'm not really into making the internet parental, because if I want the internet to be parental and I want to safeguard and childproof the internet and safeguard people against their own stupidity, then what I need to do is vote for the tyranny of the government and let the government nanny and babysit everybody on the damn internet because they can't help themselves. So it's like, I can either cheerlead the government taking everybody's free speech, nannying everybody with parental BS. If we're so damn scared, fine, let the government control everything if you're so damn scared and you can't think for yourself. Yeah, I said it. So like, I'm heated about this because like people are just stupid. People are stupid. I am heated. I'm mad. I'm legitimately mad because I'm like, this is dumb. This is dumb. Like straight up. Dislikes are not going to protect people from bad companies. Do you realize that if you want, you can keep the discount counter? You know what? My friend Arways Marco, this MLM company he called out for their scams, they brigaded his content. They false copyright claimed. They tried to deplatform him. Do you think that dislikes are going to stop evil corporations from doing evil? Do you really think that dislikes are going to save you? It's bullshit. It's stupid.
Right. Plus, we also have other ways of, like, for example, when somebody has taken our content and copied them over to their own channel and stuff, we have processes now. We have a system now for that. And so just going and sending your little army to dislike.
Oh, that's another thing. The brigading, whether it's people punching down and sending their people, or if it's the cancel culture nonsense, it's like, think for yourself. Stop letting strangers tell you. And that's why this comment pisses me off, because this person who's anonymous just told a bunch of strangers who didn't bother to ever check out my content. 168 people never took a random comment on a Philip DeFranco video and did not go and give me any benefit of the doubt, do 5 seconds of research and say, wait a minute, he has massive like ratios, so why does he think what he thinks? He's not a creator that's in any danger of this. And it's like, I watched a video of his and I agree with his video. I don't think he's a scammer. So like, I've made anti-scam videos. I made the anti-scam video about the Bitcoin scams on YouTube, the hackers on the channel, the email phishing scams. I'm like literally like anti-scam. I'm the one who kept telling people to not go into the pump and dump on Dogecoin, and I had people dunking on me for that.
Pump and dump.
Like, you see what I'm saying? This is why I'm pissed, is because some, like, people want to believe that random people on the internet who have no education in something, you have no idea why they believe what they believe, are a good vetting mechanism for you deciding whether something is legitimate or not. That is just dumb. You cannot trust. If you're worried about random people making content on the internet, why are you thinking that random people liking or disliking something protects you from the random on the internet in the first place? You're choosing one group of people over another. Yeah.
If anything, the dislike is an anonymous. It is an anonymous way for a hater to get in, right? Because they can just dislike, and you will never know who they are, right? But in the comment section, I mean, we still have that to vouch for bad content, right? Like, if we do find a tutorial that sucks, there's going to be people who are going to comment on it. So regardless, you're going to be able to save that time for that demographic of people who use that metric in order to avoid watching a tutorial. They're going to be able to do that anyway, because they're going to see the comments. People are going to leave comments. And I think too, it's just a more public vouching for your opinions, right? What were you going to say, Audrey?
No, I was just going to say, I feel like I've seen, like, I watched PewDiePie made a video about it, and so did MKBHD. And one thing that they mentioned was how they use the like to dislike ratio basically to help with like content. Just figuring out like what the audience liked more, or stuff like that. Not necessarily just the dislikes, but the ratio. I thought that was interesting. And then also there's the side of like the mental health stuff. Like, I feel like YouTube was positioning it from, this is going to help creators' mental health, but I don't think you can still see the dislikes. Like, the creators can still see the dislike, and it might help stop like blind hate wagons, because it's not as satisfying for the audience. And I guess they did testing on that, and that turned out to be the case. But other than that, I know they want to like try and make YouTube a better place, like for mental health reasons for creators, but I don't think getting rid of dislike is going to really do much, because anyway, comments impact creators like way more than dislikes do most of the time. So I don't know. I think it will stop the bandwagon like trends to just dislike things, but other than that, I don't think it really contributes to the mental health side for creators. So that's why I'm a little confused, because I'm kind of like, I don't care, basically, is my opinion. I'm kind of just in the middle. Like, I get both angles, but I don't I feel like a lot of the messaging from YouTube's end was we're going to help the mental health creators, but I'm like, we can still see the dislikes. So just because like the public can't see them, you know, does this encourage more people to leave negative comments? I don't know. That could be worse, honestly, in my opinion, than a couple.
You think that it would be worse that people will take the time to leave the comments?
I don't think. I mean, most people are lazy, right?
Because so, like, hitting a dislike button, I feel like that's for the lazy, right? Like hitting the dislike button.
Really easy to do. Writing a comment is another level of
effort.
You know, effort, but there's still going to be a couple who do it, right? Because they don't.
Right, but they're going to be there regardless of the dislike button or not.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, would it go up because maybe there's a small percentage of people who would have normally just left a dislike and then left, who instead now are like, since I can't do that, I'm gonna leave a comment. Will it make the negative comments go up?
Summer asked a good question. Yet another good question. Do you want to read it, Audrey? Read it out loud.
Do you feel? I don't know.
Wow. Okay. This is Summer. This is not a reflection of how we feel you sound. This is just Audrey being a very.
I'll do a really deep voice.
All right.
Do you feel?
All right.
Do you feel like getting rid of dislikes feels like an every kid gets a trophy or positive feedback kind of mentality?
Roberto, how do you feel about that? I know you have opinions on this. Stop tweeting over there.
Roberto's answering all the trolls.
Roberto is giving way too much attention to these fools.
Don't feed the trolls, Roberto. Don't do it.
Roberto, come back to the podcast. We're live streaming right now.
They don't know what they're talking about.
He's on a roll, man. Look at him. He is.
Their concentration right now. Just see the roasts. They're like, they're cooking.
Do you think he even heard us?
Hang on, repeat it in a second. Just give me 1 second.
Wait, what do you think, Romina? Do you feel like getting rid of dislikes?
What was Summer's question? Do you feel like getting rid of dislikes feels like every kid gets a trophy, a positive feedback kind of mentality? No, you can still get comments and you still see the dislikes in your own data. It's that you get like, all right, let me ask you all this. Knowing that somebody else dislikes something, why is that useful for me to know? Without knowing why. Without knowing why is it valuable for me to know what somebody else is? Why is it useful for me to know that someone dislikes something or someone? Why is it useful for me to know that without knowing why? Explain to me why it's useful to, like, think about it like this.
I mean, if someone, you don't need a why.
No, you do need a why. You don't need a why for liking somebody. If I say, hey,
Audrey's
Audrey,
like,
I like you. Hey, if I say, hey, Audrey, I like you. Or hey, Romina, I like you. Or hey, you both look nice today. You don't need any additional why or context on that feedback whatsoever. But if I say,
I want to know what I did right.
But if I say, hey, if I say, hey, I don't like you, or hey, I think you're scum, or hey, I think you're ugly, and I have no context as to why, that's not helpful in any way. It's not useful. It's not meaningful. It's worthless. Dislikes and negativity need a justification. Likes and positivity needs no justification.
No, I dislike that.
Positivity needs no justification, but negativity does.
No, I'm disliking that.
Why?
You just disliked that statement?
Yeah, I did. I disliked it verbally.
With no reason.
Because no, I do think that I think that positive. I think that I do need a why for the positive critiques.
But
because, like I said, like if you told me,
it would be nice, but it's non-essential.
If you said to me today, you said, "Romina, you look nice today," I'm going to say thank you, and I'm going to be like, "Yeah, I just did my hair," or I got new kicks.
But that's
you're going to be
response.
Like, no, that's not.
That's a response. I'm saying you don't need a deeper inquiry from me. You don't need to grill me about why I'm giving you some positive.
I don't need to, but I don't need to do that for negative either.
You're also unlikely to. But if somebody says,
but I want to know what I did right so that I can repeat it again.
That's great. That's great. And the thing is,
It is great.
that's great. But here's the thing. If someone just says, hey,
why is it great?
if someone tells you your video is trash, you have no way to improve, they need to give you context as to here is what the issue I have is. You have to explain your negativity or it's not valid criticism. This is the first thing you learn in art school or design school, is that you have to explain the rationalization for the critique that you have, or it's not meaningful for the improvement of the creator.
Yeah, but look, Connor agrees with me. I want the reason behind, quote, that video was good, quote. Just getting the compliment isn't just helpful for me. I always ask, whenever I get a compliment on my videos, I always ask in the comments, I say, what did you like about the video? So that I can get a response from people. I know what works, because if they say something like, I really like the music, or I like the way that you explain this thing, or I like the fact that you showed us this one thing, that helps me, because then I know what kind of content people want to see in the videos.
Yeah.
Because when people give like a general compliment, that doesn't help me. So yeah, I do want the why for both the negative and the positive. So I disagree with you, Roberto.
Ooh.
Man, he exited this conversation.
I just heard both of you. I think we don't need a why for either, even if it's annoying.
All right, so here's the thing.
Oh wow. Okay, so
No, I
Audrey's
think you do need a
okay.
why.
All right, hold on.
Okay,
So
explain
Audrey
to me
says
why you
she
don't
doesn't.
need a why for negativity.
No, we need a why for both.
We need a why for both. We got
That's my
three
argument.
different perspectives. I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes, like for example, with a tutorial video, right? Like there's probably is a why, but they don't need to explain it if it's just bad. And
Here's the thing.
sometimes
What's
if there's,
bad?
Like, enough people.
What's bad? Okay, let me explain this. When you see a negative dislikes on a tutorial or the ratio and everything, you're assuming that the tutorial is inaccurate, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
But
and
see,
what if I show you? What if I show you
having
right
to
now?
see a
What if
comment.
I show you the most accurate Photoshop tutorial right now, but its dislike ratio is bad because it's someone who's not English is not their first language, but you can clearly hear what they're saying, and the reason it's got dislike ratio is literally because you can read the comments and it's people dunking on their goddamn accent.
Why are you yelling?
Because I'm mad. I have a reason. See, I have a reason for why I'm being negative. I'm literally watching things where it's not even bad, and it's literally someone either commenting on someone's appearance, and it's a tutorial, commenting on their voice, and it's a tutorial, commenting on their accent, and it's a tutorial, has nothing to do with the accuracy. I was in a Twitter space today where someone was talking about something where it was a thing where they had medical, blah, 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 blah.
But what if somebody does not enunciate their words properly? What if someone doesn't properly pronounce words, technical words that are needed for a tutorial?
So one, closed
that
captions.
Is something that I think.
Okay, that's a fair criticism. That's a fair criticism. That's a fair criticism.
That's all I'm saying.
And someone can point out that criticism.
I understand what you're saying too.
But also at the same time, I don't believe on dunking somebody for their you realize how much criticism Viper gets for his speech impediment? That's okay, like so what? Like okay, so what? Like
right.
All hate is justified because of the way you talk.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I agree with you.
Like if that's the way we're gonna go, let's just go to where I can just physically fight people for let's go, let's run them hands, let's just go then. Let's go that.
Yeah, I mean, with cases like that, of course, I agree. But I think I'd say like majority of the time when I'm looking up a tutorial and I'm using the dislike thing, it's been pretty accurate in the past, and maybe I've missed one or two that were actually good, but.
How do you know how do you know how much time do you give a tutorial before you make up your own mind versus using the public opinion?
Like 3 seconds.
Do you think that is a good judge? Do you think that that's a fair way to judge a piece of so the thing is, we should judge for all of us, we should all judge content off of the first 10 seconds.
That's like tutorials. I feel like with tutorials you can kind of tell like, oh, this was published.
Right, yeah, because some tutorials are like 5 minutes long, and then they only have the actual tutorial part, which is one quick thing in like the last 10 seconds.
About nothing, and you're like, all right, this is going to take 10 years. I can probably find another one faster than it takes for me to
Then guess what? No one should watch
video.
any tutorial content that's not from a creator with 1 million subscribers. No one should watch tutorial content that's not from the manufacturer, the producer of the software, or anything educational. Only watch Harvard, only watch Stanford, only watch people with PhDs, only watch the people with MBAs. Do not give small creators ever a fucking chance ever then. The end. Because your time is too precious.
You're making Audrey cry.
If everyone's time is too precious, don't watch small creators then. If everyone's time is so precious that they need to know that it's perfect, then only watch it from people with 1 million subscribers, only watch it from Harvard, only watch it from Stanford, only watch it from official Google, only watch stuff that you can guarantee will not be a waste of your precious time, and never, ever give a newcomer to the space ever a chance, ever on a tutorial, ever again. That what we're doing? Is that what we're doing?
I get what you're saying, but I don't think that's like the decision making with tutorials. I think it's like if you're making a tutorial, it's this is just how the space is. Like you have to
new
make it straight to the
YouTubers.
point,
Okay,
get
new
to it.
YouTubers. New YouTubers. No one's gonna watch your tutorials because your production isn't perfect, and because you're gonna get dislikes for not having perfect audio and perfect lighting, or because you didn't do your nails today, or because you didn't do your
is going to win.
and you didn't do your nails today, and no one's ever going to give your tutorials a chance because they're going to see that you didn't get the appropriate amount of like ratio that had nothing to do with the accuracy of your tutorial. Small tutorial channels, give up now. Quit YouTube.
I mean, I don't think that's the case. I think it's like any other. I don't really know too much about the tutorial niche because I haven't really done that. But it's like if the tutorial's not the best, then like just. Wait. But I know from the perspective
you and everyone has a strong opinion about this, but you will say you don't know too much about the tutorial niche.
No, but I'm talking about it from the perspective of like what I do when I search something up.
That's fair. I just think that there's selection bias against small YouTubers, and I don't think I'm wrong to say that there's massive selection bias against small YouTubers, and that the people defending this thing, it's like, then fine. Like small YouTubers don't have a chance. Small YouTubers, small tutorial channels, small education channels, they have no chance then. This gives them some breathing room. This gives them a way to have a fighting chance against established channels. This gives them a way to break into the niche. This makes it a little bit more fair. And this also is for those, like, I think we might even actually, as a result, have new people that might do it better because now they're not going to be pushed out or feel discouraged to not make anything anymore. Because we all have been small YouTubers. We all know how rough that is. And I think that people are being really elitist and being really snobby and being really precious with their time, as if it's impossible that public consensus, even around a tutorial thing, can't just absolutely be trash, and that people can't just be unfair, and that you should just give things a chance and make your own decision and just watch 5 minutes of a damn thing from someone if you've never watched something from somebody before and you've never had the opportunity to make up your own opinion about them, what's so hard about finding 5 minutes to make up your own mind and giving a smaller channel a chance? Because this is not, the dislike things will not affect big channels. This will not affect big channels in any meaningful way. They already have their fans. They already have their clout. Even if they do something wrong, they'll still disproportionately get more likes in most cases and everything. And we've seen that with our own lines. This is not going to be something that is a negative to the corporations. The dislike problem on YouTube disproportionately, almost exclusively affects small YouTubers. That's why I'm upset. Because for me, guess what? I could just roll along with this. You know what I should have done? What I should have done is I should have gotten all the credibility and all the clout and getting all the anti-scam love and just agreed with the big YouTubers. I should have agreed with Marquez, agreed with CoffeeZilla, agreed with Phil, agreed with everybody, bandwagging on this shit, get $2,000, 180,000 views, a $20 CPM on my video for doing this, and dunk on YouTube, and then in DMs be like, hey, YouTube, it's all love and everything. I don't believe any of this shit. I should have just sold out.
I don't think so. Do you think creators are doing that because they don't actually agree with it?
No, I think they're all true believers. I'm saying that I'm not a true believer. I'm standing up for what I actually believe in. I'm saying here, bringing up a problem that I think is the real problem with the bias and with brigading and with all this stuff. You saw the nasty shit. Like, we had boycotts of Twitch over brigading, and people don't believe it's a real problem. We have TikTok creators that are verified that are getting falsely reported from brigading, and people don't think it's a real problem. Like, people don't think that there's massive bias on these.
It's a huge problem.
So, like,
YouTube Rewind. Like, that was so dumb. It became a meme to dislike.
Right.
things.
So again, we can't even trust dislikes to be accurate because it's like it could be any number of petty nonsense. It's not a good vetting mechanism. It's just
Wait,
not.
why not just disable likes and dislikes?
Because the thing is, you don't need a justification for liking something. Comments already exist. If you need to verify something and you are going to use people's public opinion, then you could at least take the time to read nuanced comments and then think about whether you agree with those things. And again, I still think the proper answer is your time so precious? Because if it is, then just don't watch anything that's not an established channel or somebody that has credentials or a degree or is not from a corporate entity that's directly talking about the software or the hardware product. Don't watch anybody small ever again then. If your time is too precious to waste, never watch a small channel, but I think that that's unfair.
Wait, now that you're saying this, I'm wondering, like, because yeah, that makes sense. Now that we can't check, like, based on dislikes anymore, I'm gonna go back to the tutorial thing because I feel like this is the only thing I use dislikes for is literally tutorials. So like with the tutorial, now I feel like what if people just start only watching like the established channels because they don't want to like give the smaller creators a chance?
Then they're being snobs and they're thinking their time is so precious and that's it. And because here's
like,
the thing, sometimes small
use
people do
YouTube
better
as a
than
tool, you know. Like, I feel like people, like the average person, is not thinking about creators. They might just be like my grandma who is.
Then the average person should learn to make up their own mind about things. The average person, think about it.
Why do you gotta talk about your grandma like that?
Think about it like
I'm
this.
just saying, my grandma, she's got things to do. Like, she might be like, I want to make sure that this tutorial
okay,
I'm
watch
watching
this.
on
Watch
the
this.
toilet
Okay,
is legit.
She's
all
a
right?
busy
watch this.
lady.
Okay, watch this.
Actually waste 15 minutes, you know? Like,
What stops me? What stops me from buying dislikes
What
against
kind of
any of my
tutorials
competitors?
is your grandma watching? Audrey?
What stops me? What stops me
Learning how
from
to
buying?
knit a scarf?
What stops me from buying dislikes against everybody in my niche? What stops me? What stops me from going to Fiverr, taking $1,000 and buying dislikes against everyone in my niche to discredit them? What stops me from buying 1,000 dislikes against anyone who ever makes a criticism video about me ever? What stops me from either punching down, sending my audience to brigade them? What stops me from buying 1,000 dislikes? What stops a company from paying an influencer to do a negative review about their competitor? At what point do we make up our own damn minds about something to make a judgment? And at what point do we stop relying on groupthink and other people's opinions and someone telling us what to dislike or what's good?
Because we are
conditioning.
We are conditioning individuals to stop critical thinking.
Yeah. I mean, don't all platforms kind of, like, all of social media is built on the same thing of like looking at what other people deem to be good or bad? Like, even if Twitter doesn't have a dislike button, ratio is a thing that basically replaces.
Right, but it has a
even
like
meaningful,
button.
or is it just a meme?
No, ratio is literally a way of like showing like which one is good or which one is bad. Like, it's the same concept as like a.
You're still
like or
relying on
dislike,
other
just
people. If you're going off of that, so what about all the people? Who disagree with the popular opinion of like people dunking on someone and ratioing them? What? They're automatically wrong.
No, it doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means they're not in the popular pool.
So what's meaningful about the popular pool? Explain it to me. What's meaningful about that when it can also be very, very wrong? You know how many things?
I mean, it can be
are
wrong, but it
effed up
shows
that were
you
popular?
what the audience is thinking.
Do you know what was the popular opinion? You know how many horrible effed up things were the popular opinion 15 years ago?
Oh, I have no doubt. I'm just saying it's like that's how social media is built, to see other people's opinions, whether, you know, they're dumb or not. That's just how it is. You know, like if even on TikTok, there's no dislikes, but you can go to the comments, and if the comment has more likes than the video, you're ratioed, and that's like a big thumbs down.
All right, so if people want to go that route, all right, watch this. Okay, guess what?
Oh, what? Okay.
So we're gonna go off of like, okay, I need to decide the validity of the value of content or its authority or its meaningfulness based on like to dislike ratio, and I need that to save my time and everything like that. Okay, watch this. I only care about the opinion of people who make 6 to 7 figures or more a year now, because I don't. Why should I value the opinion then of people who have not been successful? Why should I care about the opinions of people who are not in the top 10% of earners? Because how smart can that be? And again, I don't really believe this. I'm saying, what if I decide to use a vetting mechanism that I can make my own goalpost for a vetting mechanism of whose opinion is valid, or whose time is valid, or whose information is valued? What if I decide that the only people who can have accurate information are the people who have money? What if I decide that that is the most accurate means of determining whether somebody is intelligent enough to not waste my time? What if I decide that the value vetting that I decide for someone being worthy of my 5 minutes of attention, or making a decision, or me weighing a decision, is entirely predicated on the balance of their bank account? What if I made that the way that I decide to vet decisions? But again, now that's me as one person saying, okay, that's your call, that's your choice, and everything like that. Well, again, I'll just use whatever publicly available information allows for that, because everyone else is just using whatever publicly available information they have to make a decision without doing any personal research beyond that, right? So again, I'm not saying that's a good idea, by the way. I'm not saying that's a good idea. I'm not saying that's how I want to vet things. But I'm saying, if you say, okay, well, here's my reasoning of why this is where I'm going to be precious with this, and who does and doesn't get a chance, my 5 minutes, or what I don't get a chance or anything. Okay, well, what if I decide that in the same way that you only want to give your time to maybe an established creator or established entity or the mainstream or this or that? Okay, what if I play that game and I never give anyone a chance based entirely on a goalpost that I set that most people cannot meet? What if I use that to determine people's worthiness? And what if I use that to determine who I give a chance? We would say that that's highly biased. We'd say that that's highly prejudicial. We'd say that that's gatekeeping. We'd say that that's unfair, because we immediately can go there when it's based on something like how much money you make, and why that's unreasonable and unfair to do. We can say that when it's based on throwing people away based on what school they went to or how much money they make, and we all agree on that. So why do we think that the consensus of random people on the internet is an accurate judge of the validity of anything, versus experiencing it for ourselves and making a decision based on our own opinions and our own experiences, rather than relying on the consensus of strangers without giving something a chance with our own eyes? Why believe that strangers know
I feel like
better?
Most of the time, but isn't it the same? Like, if you put value, some people could put value into the popular thing, just like others don't have to. Like, you don't have to, base decisions off of what gets more likes if you don't want to, But I mean, the tutorial thing is just a specific example because it's more of a tool. But on like general content, then yeah, like if it's a normal video, like a vlog or something, I'm not going to judge the video before I've watched it. It's definitely more, I feel like the YouTube culture of the dislike button is used in different ways dependent on the type of content. And sometimes it's dumb. It's used for dumb reasons. People are just hating for the sake of hating. Other times it's used by creators to like judge whether they're seeing a shift in like the ratio or something, or it's used to save time for like an average consumer who doesn't care about small creators. To just let's get the fastest.
Let's get into the actual topic of this video, because like we ended up.
That's what I was gonna say. I've been trying to do that for like 10 minutes, but y'all were going.
Goes around in circles.
So
y'all were going hard.
So for the people who came for that in the replay, I'm gonna leave a timestamp in the comments so that all of you can literally, so that we can not waste your precious time and you feel like you're clickbaited. You're gonna skip to minute 38.
Yeah, because we already got one dislike on this live stream.
That's fine.
What? Who did it?
That's fine. We can have.
I think Marcus sus.
We can
Marcus sus.
We can have a bad ratio on this video. That's fine.
No.
So, no, all right. So I'll tell you my thesis on the secret to being MrBeast. Because I was talking with a bunch of creators about this, and actually from Vid Summit.
Oh man, we got 2 dislikes. All right. I'll drop it. I'll drop it.
Bandwagoning, guys. Don't like.
Yeah. We're being ratioed.
So like my thesis on this, and Audrey, this might help you because I know that you're trying to drive into more spectacle content and stuff like that. So I have a very straightforward thesis. I have a very straightforward thesis on how somebody becomes the next MrBeast. Now again, this is not literally just do this, but this is the mindset. This is the mindset of how somebody becomes the next MrBeast. And I think I figured this out is that what if you could make a video in your niche that nobody else could make or would make, and that people could watch it without being invested in your niche or in you as a person? So that's the thesis here, right? The thesis is how do you make something that you care about interesting to anybody, because you've just made it that sensational, you've made it that driver of curiosity and passion, and like I just need to see how this turns out. I need to see that payoff. I need to, because I was thinking about this even, well, how do you do that in tech, right? Jenna Izarak, Justine sister, I think actually can pull this kind of thing off. And I was talking with Viper about this. There were some videos she did a couple of times where whenever the new iPhone would come out, she would do an underwater camera test and the thumbnail is her with this iPhone, the thing that we all usually fear getting it wet, right? And avoiding the warranty. She'd have the latest iPhone and she'd be underwater and basically taking a selfie underwater swimming, and that's the pose and that's the thumbnail. That's a hyper compelling thumbnail because even if you don't know who Jenna Izarak is, you know what the iPhone is. And underwater is a very unusual circumstance for putting a phone or any electronic device in. And the thing is, you might be curious as to, will this actually survive being underwater in the deep end of a pool like this where you're clearly swimming? And so you know from this thumbnail that's not clickbait. You know it's not clickbait because she's underwater, she has the phone in her hand, and yep, that's the camera bump from the newest phone. So it's like, you know what you're getting. It gets right into the video, just like MrBeast. You know what you're getting, gets right into the video. There's spectacle. There's something I'm familiar. There's an idea that I'm familiar with. And it's also, this is an extreme, and this is something I would not do. The average person will not take a $1,000 plus iPhone and go underwater with that thing. And so, but you're like, but I'm curious to know what the payoff is. So that's the other thing. The formula of, well, what's the payoff is, will this work after she did this? Will this phone be trash or not after she does this? So then you see what I'm saying? These are the elements. And MrBeast gave this speech at Vid Summit, by the way. I think both of you saw MrBeast's Vid Summit speech, right?
No.
No?
I saw the replay.
Okay, so you get what I'm saying, that it's like,
I did not watch the
explained
replay
that this is he explained, for people who didn't watch, he explained that this is his formula. So like a thumbnail that is massively compelling, that shows something very, very unusual and is spectacle and is a bright enough thumbnail and it will get you curious enough to click on, even if you don't know who he is. You're like, looks really interesting, or I have to know how this turns out. That's the spectacle of the click. Getting immediately into the video and showing you that you weren't clickbaited is also very important. Retention of the first 10 to 30 seconds, right? So Jenna does that in this particular type of video. So I'm like, all right, that's a product review where you can do spectacle. And again, where there's some tension and anxiety because will this thing still work? Zach from Jerry Rig Everything does it every time he cuts open and takes apart a expensive piece of technology. Same thing for what's inside. When they saw an expensive product or even a regular everyday household item in half, that's a really interesting thumbnail. That thing is clearly sawed in half. What am I like? So are they going to do it? And then you go right in and you see, oh, they're going to do it. And then there's the payoff, and that's satisfying. So and it's something that, well, I'm not going to go saw anything in half. I like the things I spend money on, or I don't have money to throw like that. Or, oh, I'm not going to jump in a water with a pool, or I'm not going to take a thing apart. Peter McKinnon taking apart a $6,500 Canon camera. That was one of his viral videos. The thumbnail with Peter McKinnon with a knife to the lens of a camera. Oh, I'm not going to put a knife to the lens of my camera. What the hell, guy? Like there's a tension element. So there's tension. There's, I would never do that, or I could never do that, or what the hell is going to happen? That's the setup. That's the payoff. So to be the next MrBeast, and I just gave you examples of people who did big, massive views on videos in different niches that are not MrBeast, that are not even full-on entertainment or not usually spectacle content. I gave you examples of how they do these type of concepts of nobody will ever try to repeat doing this because it's wildly a high risk, high reward scenario. It risks an expensive thing breaking or dying, or it's a big risk, big reward type thing, or I have to know what happens next. If you can harness that in the topic of whatever video you're making to make it more interesting, anybody, look, a camera review, anyone can review a camera. Not everybody's going to want to take apart a camera that costs thousands of dollars, or not everyone will go and say, okay, a photo shoot, if I'm going to do a camera review and a camera test, what if the camera review or camera test is you going and doing it while scuba diving in a shark tank and doing underwater photography with that camera that just came. If you got a Sony A7 IV, everyone's going to do a Sony A7 IV review, but not everyone's going to do it on safari in Africa. Not everyone's going to do it, but with penguins. Not everyone's not going to do it in the middle of the desert and that be their thumbnail, and that be their thumbnail of them, and the pyramids are in the background, and it's quite literal, you know, or them with the, or watch this. You could literally, here's a thumbnail. If you're going to do a camera review and you happen to have the ability and you do like Brett Conti and you go to an exotic place, what if the thumbnail is you with the camera, but you're hanging upside down taking the photo while hanging off of the back of a camel? And that's literally the
so ridiculous.
Huh?
Like, this is so...
Yeah, you're just kind of going out of your way.
I completely agree. I would definitely click on that.
You see? And that's the answer. Or again, Sarah's most viral video is her jumping out of an airplane in 360 because you're like, I have to see how that turns out. And that's the photo of her in the air. What if this isn't
the kind of content you want to make?
Wait, I have a question because I'm been working on a video that I've been trying to use this kind of strategy on. So I'm curious to see if you think it kind of fits that a little bit. It's the one where I think it's going to be titled something called like I shot this video with 1990s gear or something with only...
I know the thumbnail. I know the thumbnail for it.
What?
You have to get, this, I don't know how expensive this might be. You have to get like a bunch of old film. You know, the old film that you have to splice by hand like you did in your video?
I mean, that's what I did. I have some of that.
But what you have to do is you have to like wrap yourself up in all of that film like a mummy while holding the film reel. Like you have to like hold it up and like it was a disaster, almost like
I have an old film reel. Oh my god.
Yeah, and you have to hold the old film reel while wrapped all like in the thing. And have that, and then have the big eyes, and it's like, and then the like a little text thing that says something like I screwed up, or please send help, or this was this bad idea, or like gone wrong, it like, you know, and it's like, or complete disaster, or no, or hot mess, like that's
look, I have this.
See, yeah, bingo.
I literally
have this. So you have to hold that, and that's the bottom part of the frame, and you frame it, and then the rest of it is you like with all of the thing, the film reel wrapped all around you, because again, anyone would click on that. It's like, what is this?
Here's Connor's got a question. Do you think Spectacle is pay to win YouTube strategy? How does a beginner with less money achieve the Africa camera trip?
Okay, so here's the thing. You don't have to pay to win, because even Peter did some things that weren't pay to win on that.
Yeah.
And here's a primary example of something you can do, because Jimmy used to do this without having money. Primary example is the reading the dictionary cover to cover thing.
Yeah.
The reading the dictionary cover to cover thing, the sawing a table in half with plastic knives thing. He didn't have money for that. That was like, that was cheap. The saying Logan Paul's name 100,000 times. That $0.
Yeah. It's
$0.
probably maybe a little bit harder to come up with ideas that are like super click worthy, especially when you're competing with a lot of people who have big budgets, but it's not impossible, because that's how everyone gets started, right? Like, it's just you kind of gotta get creative with it.
With zero, like if you have 0 subscribers and everything like that, you can literally do something.
But what if it is? What if it isn't like that kind of spectacle
Give me an
content,
example of something you want to do, and I can
all right,
turn
let's
it
say
into
that it's
spectacle.
something that it is more, let's say something that is more relaxing, right?
Okay.
Like something like a meditation channel.
Well, that's a specific niche.
It is
Right.
specific.
Okay, let me
People
just
Like,
Like,
let's just go with that. Let's go with that. Just as an example. I mean, I
Like,
got
are we
other.
talking about like
I could
a
ask other
45
questions, but
meditation video that like people just put on in the background, or like a
I mean, it would be more active than that. I would say, like 10-minute meditation or 25-minute
those ones
meditation,
people
Watch this.
search for
like
with
guided
this.
meditations.
Guess what? Guess what?
These are guided, not just
so
like
watch this.
ambiance, right?
So watch
Yeah.
this. I'm weird. So in my case, I would do something like, if I were gonna do it, I would do it, and then I would use aesthetic as spectacle. I would use aesthetic as spectacle, and I would use pop culture as spectacle, meaning that it's like, if I was going to make meditation videos, I might start to then brand myself almost like how I would if I were like a musician. Like if I was like a musician, I would make my content. I would go, so here's the thing. I would ask myself, what would Kanye West do? Like, no, I'm serious though. I would go branding on it, and I would go in my head, I'm like, well, what would Kanye West do? So here's the thing.
guided meditation for Kanye West.
So here's the thing. I could go, it's like watch
Yeezys.
this. No, I'm serious. I go, guided meditation inspired by Kanye's album, and then whatever the new Kanye album is. I go,
Okay, question. Wait,
then
hold on.
it's something familiar to other people.
Speculation content, or is that?
Well, no,
just, like,
here's how I can make it spectacle. I can make it spectacle by making the thumbnail and making the set design and stuff like that, and making it aesthetically feel like whatever the new Yee album is, right?
Yee.
I can make it whatever that is. I can
You
make
did
it whatever.
not just.
I could make it if it's Drake, I could literally just aesthetically make the setup and the thumbnail that, because it's a thing that you are familiar with. It's a thing you don't expect, and I'm now combining two things you don't expect.
Okay, all right, I get that.
Because you would click
that's a
on it to
vibe.
see,
It's a
can I
vibe.
pull it? You would click on it to see if I can pull it off.
No, it's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's a vibe.
But
for
wouldn't
sure.
like a meditation channel who did a video like that? I feel like that's for a channel that wants to bring a specific or have like
You'd
more
have to,
entertainment content.
yeah, you'd have to
They'd
want
win
that,
new
right?
people. They'd win
It
new
can't be
people
like
to
a
meditation.
meditation video.
They would get dunked on by the people in the meditation niche, and they would make new people meditation fans. And the goal is the audience, not your peers. The goal is, here's the problem creators have. They make videos for the YouTube community instead of for the general audience. And that's why they lose.
All right, hold on. So Summer is an artist. She paints.
Ooh.
How do you make that interesting, right? How do you make that a spectacle?
Easily.
Dude, there's so many things. You could do like, I don't know, I painted my entire bedroom or something. I don't
Watch this. Surprising.
Thanks for the advice,
surprising-
Audrey.
in 5 hours.
Watch this. Watch this as an
Go
artist.
fast.
Okay,
Watch this.
Watching.
Pranking my best friend with a surprise mural.
Yeah. Do you guys know? I feel like I've talked about the channel Gox like so much to people, but he literally does that. He'll be like, I painted a mural in my parents' room or something while they were gone. And like
That's actually kind of
content
cool.
is actually like really good, and he
Right?
makes it, interesting about the process and stuff. And there's a little
Mhm.
bit of storytelling in there. So I think it's just a matter of packaging it in a way that, people click on it.
Mhm.
Painting.
I feel that was what wasn't that what Hayden was talking about at Vid Summit during his talk? It's like what Connor said about the video, making a video about like the little things in life that matter. Like if you title the video "Little Things in Life Matter," no one's gonna click on it. But if you title it something, I don't know, more spectacle, like through maybe a challenge angle or just something more along those lines, but the premise of the video is still the same, and like
Right,
the
right.
takeaway is still the same.
So, like for
That's how YouTube
example,
is
buying a Ferrari to paint it,
right now. Buying,
right?
yeah,
Like
No,
getting
watch-
but it
getting
doesn't
like
have
a
to be a Ferrari, right?
right, but
that-
like
it
getting
could
like a
be, like-
car, getting like a nice car or a new car just to paint it.
Well, the thing is, I'm like, no, you don't need money. Here's the thing, you can do this
Yeah, you could do
without.
something way simpler.
Watch this.
Well, you guys are talking
like-
about, I don't know what kind of money you guys are talking about. I'm talking about like a used car, like something that would be
I'm
easy
talking
to.
about
could
like
also
spending
do,
like nothing.
I painted my brother's pillow without him realizing. Like,
Watch
it could be
this.
something
Watch this
very simple.
Brother.
I don't know. I'm just saying
Watch
random
this. Watch this. Watch this.
Wow, that's quite the spectacle, Audrey. You painted a pillow. Amazing.
Watch this.
I'm clicking on that so fast. I clicked on it so fast. I broke
Watch
my
this.
buttons on my keyboard. They're broken.
Stop. That's a bad example.
Watch this. So like, watch this. Watch this.
I'm watching.
Like, all right. So watch this. I taught my cat how to paint, not clickbait. Boom. And like, that's like a video. If you can pull it off. If you can.
And how are you gonna pull that up?
You
So-
tape it to their face.
No, I guess you could get like animal friendly paint on their paws and then just have them, walk around
Yeah.
like
I mean,
with a
so you could-
laser. Oh my gosh, like a laser pointer.
Oh,
You just get, like, a laser pointer.
Now you're
And
getting
you could like
creative.
actually try and make like a smiley face with the laser. Like I feel
Audrey, wait a second. Why aren't you making this video? You got a cat?
I'm not in the painting niche, all right?
How about I taught my cat how to edit video?
Watch
Oh
this
my
one.
God,
Watch this
dude.
one. It's like,
What?
watch this one. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like painting graffiti with the NYPD.
Ooh. Ooh.
Got
That's-
arrested in.
That's
with the
controversial, man.
asterisks.
It's views.
That's definitely gonna get some dislikes.
It's views.
Summer, I hope that you're writing some of these down because I think they're
Yeah,
brilliant.
Summer, if you're a painter,
Summer, you got to start a Trello
also,
board.
Bazagaza is great. I used to watch him all the time. Don't know what he's up to anymore, but
My cat painted this.
Watch
these
this.
two channels I feel like are awesome for art content.
Like
Mm.
Banksy paintings, but it's TikTok stars.
Yeah, no. Well, there's so many
Fancy
options.
paintings
Like I feel like
TikToks.
there's just it doesn't end. Like you can take anything.
You just have to have the talent to follow it up. Like
Yeah.
once you
Watch
got
this.
those ideas, you got to have like a cool painting.
Watch
you know?
this.
Have you guys seen those? Wait, what?
Here's the thing. You could even, if you wanted to combine two niches, you could combine art and painting with commentary. And it's like, you could go, like painting, dedicating this mural to James Charles's downfall. And you could paint an entire mural that is a time capsule
Jesus.
catalog of a visual representation of his controversies.
Oh my
And that
God.
would like, and you don't think that
The
would get like 5 million views? You don't think that would get 5 million views?
I mean, potentially.
Painting, yeah, painting the Paul brothers apology video, and it's just
Like,
a very
watch
sad,
this. Watch this.
very
Watch this
sad
one. Hey, I got
painting
it. I got
of
it.
Logan Paul with a little tear.
No. Watch this. I painted the 7 deadly sins, but it's all YouTubers.
Oh my god.
I painted the 7 deadly sins, but it's all controversial YouTubers.
Painting.
I painted the
channel.
7 deadly sins. Oh, wait, better title. I painted the 7 deadly sins, but it's trash YouTubers. That's the title.
Oh man, is Trisha on there?
Damn.
She might be all
Whoa.
7, but
Oh my god. God damn.
All right, guys, we made it to
You see?
57
I
minutes.
I have it. I like.
We made
see,
it to
this is not.
57 minutes.
See, this is not clickbait. This is not clickbait. And here's the best part. You can sell the original prints or you can sell a digital copy as NFT and double dip and make money. Like,
Jesus, look at this one. My tunnel mural caused
Caused an
accident.
accident.
God damn. Let's
oh no,
not
and
go
but with
there.
that one, you literally like paint the mural
do,
and it's
like,
the whole
something
Roadrunner thing of like where you paint the, like, it's the whole Roadrunner scenario of like, and then that's the, but it
I feel
actually
like you could do that same concept with like a fake hole in the ground or something. That's a little bit
bingo.
less violent, you know?
Oh, it's like, oh, watch this. Pranking strangers with optical illusions. Gone wrong.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of There's a lot of options.
I see. You just
I
have
think
to
really-
sit down and really brainstorm, come up with something creative, like a creative
MrBeast
angle.
has entire days dedicated to just coming up with the next big idea. They have entire multi-day planning sessions around the big ideal, and then if they find out that logistically it's impossible, they just keep thinking bigger and thinking of the next thing, or thinking of what is possible, or do we have to scale this down just a little bit and stuff like that. And the thing is, you can make something unique about. Here's the other part of this secret that I'm telling you. It's, if you do it right, it's literally something that's impossible to duplicate.
Yeah.
And that's the other secret to why someone watches it, why it dominates, and how you get known, is that you're making, in your niche, in your genre, in your type of content, you're making stuff that nobody else can make, and you're making everyone in your niche say, damn, I wish I was creative enough to do that, or I wish I had the guts to try that, or man, I wouldn't risk that, or I wouldn't spend money to go that could go horribly wrong, or whatever. It's like risk reward, big bets. That's the answer to this strategy. And the thing is, you can do it without money. It might require you to do either be more talented, more thoughtful, or take a bigger risk, or you might have to be have a physical capacity to do the impossible. So like, that's the key here. That's the thing. And it requires you to have a huge imagination and not play it safe. And what content creators do is they play things safe. They risk the minimal amount of backlash. They do things that appease their peers, and then it's not really anything like, oh wow, it's like I could have done without that video. If you want to make a video that's truly viral and spectacle, and you want to make a name for yourself, you have to be the person that people are waiting with bated breath to see what you're going to do next. And the thing is, you can create that and you can set up for that by literally just thinking about what's the zaniest thing I can do. And the thing is, if it can't even be the zaniest thing in the video itself, what's the zaniest way to package this thumbnail? What's the most interesting version of this thumbnail that I can possibly do? What's something that has such a high level of difficulty that most people just wouldn't bother to attempt it? Anyone can read the dictionary cover to cover. No one will put themselves through that torture just for content, except for Jimmy. So like, what is it, something that isn't going to kill you that you could do that nobody else would do, just because of the absurdity of the level of difficulty is what makes something valuable in some cases, because it's now more rare. Rarity is value. So the more you raise the stakes or raise the bar, it's harder to duplicate and replicate. There will be a bunch of people who review Apple products, right? But Justine is the only person who will review them in every color or every size or every make. You know what I'm saying? And why? Well, there's a financial barrier to entry for most people to even do that. But again, it makes her content much more unique beyond her personality, which is enough to watch. But it's also what color am I buying? You know, that's a real thing that you'd want to know. So again, there's more reason to watch that. With Jenna, it's that, oh yeah, I'm not going to risk putting my thing in the pool, but what if it does fall in the water? Will it still work? I got to know. I'm buying this thing. It's $1,000. Yeah, I want to know that. So let me click on the video. And if not, it'll be entertaining to see how it works out for her. Like, you know, oh wow, I can't afford to do that, or I'm not going to do that, but let's see how that works out. So there's these things. And like I said, even if you're like in the photography niche, maybe you don't have everything that Peter McKinnon has, but there's another way to do this, because watch this. You can even use another MrBeast tactic. You can combine philanthropy with what you do. If you're a camera reviewer, what if you did a photo shoot where what you did was you also did like makeovers and photo shoots for like underprivileged kids applying to their first job, and you found a way to title that video and show kind of like a before and after makeover thing, where what you did was you didn't have a lot of money, but what you did was you did something really nice for somebody, and you combined a little bit of money with a lot of your skill, and you said, I'm going to give somebody my best today that's not expecting it, and I'm going to make like their entire day, and I'm going to make a piece of content around how this changed their situation or their life or whatever. So it's like so if you were a makeup channel, it's like you could give people like you could give people a makeover that aren't expecting it and surprise them with it, and that could be like a spectacle like thing of content. Oh, how nice, and oh, nice that you did that for that person or whatever. Or you could again showcase how to do something as a tutorial while also doing something really nice for somebody, and saying that you're doing, this is a tutorial, but like also in the tutorial, the minute you get into it, you see that, oh, we did this for our local community center, or we did it for these underprivileged kids, or we did it for the animal shelter, and you found some way to incorporate that into the thumbnail. Like a prime example would be if you were doing a tutorial as a photography channel and you were teaching people how to do dog and pet photography, you could actually do something and partner with like the ASPCA or something, and like do something where you're including that these are rescues or these are comfort animals, and you could find a way to incorporate that.
What about something that's a little bit more, I guess, I don't know if wholesome is a word, but
I mean, that's kind of wholesome.
No, yeah, I guess it's not really wholesome. I think it's more like low key, kind of like inspirational, but it's like everyday kind of thing, like daily vlogging kind of thing,
Well, that's
but
like
more personal.
I mean,
you know,
it just depends what your goals are, right? Like this is what's working on YouTube right now. If you want to make that type of content, go for it. But if you want to grow your channel, you know, it's going to be really hard to do that if you don't have any other outside following.
I get what you're
saying.
saying.
Going anywhere in the algorithm. So
right.
It's disappointing. Like from an artsy side, yeah, there's a part of me that's like, this is annoying that we have to package it like this just to get people to click. But
right.
I think it's about finding like the balance where you actually still get to express yourself and like have fun with the videos, but you're just spending more time on the packaging.
Do you guys feel like this is the result of oversaturation of content? Like this is because of the fact that we had so much content that we've just gotten to the point where we need to have this kind of spectacle content in order to stand out, because there's just so much of it?
In a way, whether it was saturation or not, the reality is in general. Like in general, why?
Because there's definitely a lot more of this now than there was,
but let me ask you a
5 years ago, right?
Let me ask you a question. Why would anybody watch? Why would anybody watch something that is really easy? Like why would you watch? I hate to say it this way, but why would millions of people watch something that is exactly no different than what they could do with no effort right now? Meaning if someone who's never made a YouTube video can make the video that you're making, there's no level of difficulty, then what's the point of everybody watching something that they could make themselves with no effort? Now, I'm not saying you have to make something that's impossible to make, but I'm saying like, let me ask you something. There's no reason to watch a YouTube video to get your life together that's about how to make $18,000 a year.
But like people used to love vlogs a couple years ago.
There's no reason to watch a financial YouTube video or about how to make $8 an hour. There's like no gap between you
and the viewer. Just like a trend thing, right? Like YouTube
that's what I'm saying.
Phases of content. Like there was the daily vlogging phase.
Yeah, and so I'm saying, is this phase of the spectacle content a result of just like getting to the end of the line of like, hey, there's like so much content
I think
that we need to be pushed,
right? It's like it's not only the YouTube algorithm itself shifting, and that changes how YouTube like creators make their content. Like when they started focusing more on retention, that's when a lot of this pacing stuff and like making sure there's payoff at the end, like all that stuff became more important. But I also think it's the viewers, obviously, who are dedicating what works and what doesn't work ultimately. So,
but I
think it's just kind of morphed into this like, this is what is the most efficient type of content that gets the most views.
Right.
And,
okay.
You know, 3-4 years ago, it wasn't as far along or like evolved as it is.
In this landscape of wait. In this landscape of the spectacle content, then just to kind of bring back where we started this episode. How is a tutorial, like how to cut a video, how to do this, how to tie a tie, how do you
As
make
fast
that a
as possible.
spectacle?
Watch this, as fast as possible. So like, okay, watch this.
Got
How
it,
to
got it.
remove a background in Photoshop in one click.
Got it,
Okay.
got it.
Because now the value is, oh, you're saving me time in one click. Okay. What is it like? It's like, all right, how to remove a background, no Photoshop. 3 ways. All right, you're going to show me 3 ways how to remove myself from a background, and I don't need to buy Photoshop and have a subscription and pay X amount of dollars a month. Okay, let me see it. Let me see it. Aha. So that's okay.
All those tutorials have already been done, like the basic ones. Now I feel like people have to do stuff like that, or how to remove a background on Photoshop has been done.
Well, it's not that everything
times.
has already been done, because remember, software updates every year, and so it's like doing it for 2022 or doing it in a certain amount of time. Or
most people
doing
don't
it in a
know that
certain amount of
Canva
steps.
removes background, for example.
Most people don't know. Like,
because
watch
that's
this.
a new thing. That's a new development.
How to edit a YouTube video in Canva. Oh, I didn't even know
Yeah.
Canva can edit videos and everything like that. How to make a YouTube intro for free in Canva. Wait,
Right.
That for free? That's watch this. It's like, watch this. Best export settings for YouTube 2022 Premiere Pro. Oh, 2022, they updated? Well, what are the best settings? And oh yeah, maybe the best settings, because now we have 4K, 8K, well, like we got new cameras. What are the best export settings? Or because there are new YouTubers every year, there's new Premiere Pro people every year. Like,
Connor wants to know, what if you want to inspire someone to do something? If it's extreme, it's not as relatable, and the audience would dismiss that they could do that.
I think it's been proven that they don't.
That they
So
wouldn't
if you
dismiss.
are like disconnected or you don't relate to things, and
So if you are trying to
dismiss them-
inspire someone to do something wild,
like Connor, I know you and I have some context on you and everything like that. Here's what I'm getting at. I think that this is one more of those, like someone, all right, this is my use case, or this is how I feel. So then therefore I need to say what if, but then what if is like, oh, everybody's this nebulous thing, but it's like, but no, that's specific to you. It's been proven at scale by the numbers that most people are inspired by extremes. Nobody is trying to be the person in their town that is making $35,000 a year. Most people are not trying to be the owner of the local Chick-fil-A franchise and are not inspired by that, even though that is success. They're inspired by Graham Stephan, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Mark Cuban, the Shark Tank guys. Like, most people are
the
not
opposite
trying
sides
to be,
of the spectrums.
most people are not trying to be the head of the waste management company in their town. Most people are not trying to be the successful African-American principal at the local school or the superintendent, even though it's a good job and they're respected in the community. But they are like, how do I become like Damon John? Like for real. So people are, and the thing is, maybe it's a shame. Maybe it's a shame that people don't look at something that's more reasonable and and more practical. Maybe it is a shame.
Right.
I think that there are a lot of blue collar millionaires that are overlooked. I believe that. But what's going to even make people try to get out of their comfort zone is going to be the fantastical. That's why stories and mythology, look at the greatest mythologies, look even to religion. It's not stories about the mundane. It's stories about a crucible, a hero's journey, unreasonable circumstances being overcome, and we literally have been inspired by the monomyths that exist within religion, and none of that is about mundane, everyday experiences. It's all about extremes. It's all about extremes. Think about it. It's not even, and yet that is what has been the driver of history, of culture, and not just in the Christian mythology. Every mythology, everything from the entire civilization, all of our storytelling is about extremes. Storytelling is interesting in the extremes.
Yeah.
Facts.
That's the stories we remember. No one remembers stories that are hashtag truly I could live that tomorrow. It's that no, we are only interested in stories that require us to go through the process of Campbell's hero's journey.
And even like when people were vlogging, like even what Casey was doing, even if he was a normal guy, it still was a very interesting, not normal, life to a casual viewer. So I don't know.
Casey is literally the hero's journey. Drops out of school, becomes a teenage father, moves away from home, is sleeping on couches, is doing bad jobs, has a dream, experiences 9/11. Dad says come home, says no, I'm gonna stick it out, I'm gonna make it. Hustles hard, overcomes adversity, is looked down on, picked on, looks weird, does all these things, makes it, overcomes incredible odds. We get invested in, are him and Candace gonna make it? They break up, they get back together, they break up, they get back together. We're emotionally invested because there's tension, there's conflict. If it was just a normal, perfectly reasonable relationship with no conflict, if it was the same one that we have, it would not be interesting.
Right. Well, because he shows the ugly side.
What is Casey
He
going to be
shows
able
the
to
ugly
stay
side
in his,
of every day.
Is Casey going to be able to stay in his son's life? What is the relationship with him and his long distance son and everything like that? Oh, is Casey's venture, is Beam going to make it? What's going on? Oh, are the investors going to pull out? Oh, they're selling to CNN. What's going to happen? Oh, he walked away from it. What's going to happen? Oh, 368. Is this a new thing? Is this going to be a repeat? Is this Oh, he stopped doing the filmmaking thing. He's going daily vlogging. Oh, now it's a new challenge. Can he keep it up? Stay tuned. Let's see if Casey shows up for the vlog today. Stay tuned. Oh, wow. He's being consistent. Right. Oh, what's going to happen next? We need the hero's journey as illustrated by Campbell. Yeah. We need to find a grain of relatability in the extremes. We need to see a small sliver of ourselves in that extreme, but we still need the enticement and excitement, or the story is not worth seeing through to the end.
Speaking of storytelling, I'm going to take one last question from the chat before we start wrapping things up, because we've been at it for a while. Summer brought up storytelling in thumbnails because she mentioned that MrBeast said in a Clubhouse chat that people are afraid to put a ton of detail in their thumbnails and try to make them simplistic. But he likes packing it with details and Easter eggs. Mm-hmm. So Summer would like to know what our thoughts on storytelling in the thumbnails.
Here's a storytelling thumbnail that I could do. You know how I have literally basically every Sony camera lens or whatever? The storytelling thumbnail would be me doing something like this, staring directly at the camera, and then next to me are the piles of boxes, the piles and piles of boxes of all the, which we know to be the empty Sony boxes, but because I've already unboxed them. But it's it'd be me doing this, and then it'd be the two stacks flanking me of all these orange Sony boxes, and then the title is, I bought every Sony camera lens, please send help. And it's you would click on that if you're somebody's
is this a subtle call for help, Roberto? Are you going to start blinking?
Well, that's my gear acquisition, because it's like, hi everybody, my name is Roberto and I have a camera addiction. And now you're intrigued because
well, that's facts.
See, that's a hook. It's like my name is Roberto Blake and I'm addicted to buying overpriced camera gear. Please send help.
You have to have that music in the background that they use for that.
Audrey, how do you feel about having a lot of details in the thumbnails? Do you prefer simple or jam-packed?
I feel like for example, MrBeast thumbnails. Yeah, they're detailed, but they're made to look just as engaging as possible, right? So if you're just gonna call details removing the background so it's more clean or something, I think it's just as long as you look at it as this is the most simple to the point where it gets the point across, but it's not there shouldn't be 10 arrows, in the same thumbnail. But it also depends on the niche. So I'd say just as long as you're making a thumbnail that's visually pleasing and it gets the point across, you should know how much, or you can probably tell how much detail there should be based on other people in your niche, and you can get inspiration from them and adapt it to your style. I think I wouldn't go ham with the details as long as it's clear, makes sense, fits the vibe of your niche to a certain extent. That's kind of it should be to the point, basically. There shouldn't be 20 words in your thumbnail. that no one can read. You know, I don't know. I feel like this is straightforward.
Yeah, no, I guess I kind of, I mean, I do like the minimal thumbnails, but I do think that storytelling is important. Like, for example, Roberto's thumbnail, that, like, the example he just gave, could be seen as minimal in the sense that it's the majority of it is a photo of him with the background, like a real life, you know, thing that he's got going on, and he's not reconstructing a room. Like, he's already got it, and he's got like the props and stuff, you know.
That's the key there, is I have in real life props. I can demonstrate that it's not clickbait.
Right.
And I can make like the video. I can make the video what I would need it to be, because again, people may not watch a video about like gear matters or gear doesn't matters, and they've seen those videos and those debates before they have their mind made up. But if I then make a video rationalizing this purchase, or another one that like would work in this is I could take that thumbnail and I could have those, but the text in that video at the top or the bottom could literally be the dollar amount of how much all of that cost. And then people are clicking on that out of the like, explain this to like why, and is this real, or is like there's a payoff to like watching this, and then like okay, he's addicted to the gear. It's like, I was like, well, make this make sense, or like, why do that? And then it's like, and then I can tell people the thing I want to tell them, which is, is there a reasonable justification for spending this kind of money in an era where this is allegedly good enough? And I can keep you minute to minute engaged in this video, and there is an element of spectacle, because the spectacle is this. One, I'm showing a lot of things. A lot of things is a mental signal in okay, that's now more interesting. We are designed, whether we want to admit it or not, for materialism, avarice, and the acquisition of resources. That is our evolution, because that is how we survived and how we became the apex predators of this planet. So we care about things, whether we want to admit it or not. Seeing someone with a bunch of things becomes interesting, especially if it's a bunch of things we want and don't have, or could want, or would be interested or curious in, or if it is a sign of status or affluence. So all of a sudden, that's a spectacle type scenario, because it is a gap that exists between the
it
viewer
proposes a
and
lot of questions and opinions.
Exactly. So that's what it is.
I know that I said that Summers was going to be a last question, but this isn't really a question, but more so a comment from Connor.
Okay.
Which is, I guess by conforming to the spectacle, it seems like your priority shifts to clicks and views versus art/community as a first focus. And that feels weird.
I think that here's the thing. As a photographer, guess what I don't do? I don't conform to Jack when it comes to photography. Guess what I also don't care? I don't care if anyone supports my photography. I don't make people try to support my photography. I don't post all of my wildlife photography to my Instagram. My Instagram is not dedicated to my wildlife photography. My Twitter is not dedicated to my wildlife photography. My YouTube channel is not dedicated to my wildlife photography. I value art and community, which means that I hang out with my local Atlanta photographers. I talk to the people who like my photography at Zoo Atlanta. I would probably even do something with Zoo Atlanta or the Georgia Aquarium. And then my community for my art is local. My friends enjoy my art. When people come to the house now, I'm going to, like, parts of my house actually doubles as a gallery showing for my own personal artwork. And it's a lot of it you've never seen or never will see in social media, because that's for me, because that's art, that's community, and it's a direct connection to people I care about. Each of you, I'm going to let you pick one of my my photos that I did. Maybe it's the turtle if you want the turtle. Maybe it's one of the birds or one of the apes. I'm going to send each of you a wood print of my photography, of my wildlife photography, and you get to have that. And guess what? A regular person on the internet will never have an archival wood print of those images and everything, because you are my friends and you support my photography, and I'm not doing it for clicks. So the thing is, you have to make a choice whether you're making art for yourself or whether you want acknowledgement. If you want acknowledgement, you make what other people want to see, or you make something and make people care about what you're doing. But if you just want to make art and have a community, you don't need to do anything social media, and you don't need to optimize anything. And you can be happy with a small community I'm clearly talking to people who aren't satisfied with not being acknowledged on the level they want and think that what they do, that they want more attention or what they're doing is deserving of more attention. But the thing is, if you want to put community and art first, I think you should. I think you can. But I also think don't expect to go viral. It's nice if you do. But I think if you want to be competitive, you're making a very different choice of priorities. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think either choice is wrong. I'm saying that you can't decide to put art and community first and expect that to scale to people who exist outside of valuing that, because that's a niche thing. Because I don't expect normal people to care about coding. I don't expect normal people to care about dynamic range. I don't expect normal people to care about very, 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 very niche things. So the thing is, when I talk about acknowledgement, I'm talking about a certain level of acknowledgement, because I think people who want to do art can have 100 people that acknowledge them and deeply care about what they do and support them, but maybe not 100,000.
No, I mean, all right. I completely agree, by the way. I think like with my channel I'm just going to talk from like my personal experience, because I think for a long time I was like, I just want to make whenever I want, you know, don't care, just going to make random stuff. And that's fine, but you have to get to a point where you make up your mind with what your goals are. If your goals are to grow, I don't think you need to like ditch your artsy side or your priority for community. It's more just a way of finding a strategy where it works for better for YouTube, and then also for whatever your priorities are. Like with this new type of content I'm trying to do, I don't feel like I'm not, you know, doing justice to why I started making videos in the first place. I think I'm just repackaging it in a way that is more strategic with how YouTube works today. I'm not planning on like, you know, interacting less with my community or, you know, having different like morals or values with the videos themselves. It's just, I've decided that I want to play the game and that YouTube is something that I want to do. So yeah. And, you know, from an artsy side, I find fulfillment in doing this. And I think I've found a way to where I'm not sacrificing those values. But then also if you're like Roberto and you just like to do photography and you want to do photography for the sake of doing it, then that's your choice. You know, I think you kind of have to, I think it's important to prioritize if what you want to do is like grow. I think not just jumping on the first bandwagon and like copying what other people do to try and make the craziest speculation content that you can, but finding a way to like play the game in a way that still is true to yourself. But you still have to like, you have to play the game or you're just not going to get anywhere if that's your goal. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you're open about it, like literally who cares? That's my opinion on that topic.
I agree with that.
I don't know. I feel like there's like a negative connotation over trying to grow something when if you've made it clear that that's your goal and that you're still keeping your values and you still really
right,
like
you're
what
still
you're doing,
genuine.
Yeah.
then like who cares?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, for me, I haven't changed the things that I believe in. Even if I change my content strategy, I might believe in a different strategy, but I haven't changed my core values. I'm also separating. I like there's things I want for myself, right? And the thing is, I used to post more of my photography. I used to even make videos on YouTube that showcased or had my photography in my videos, and I stopped for like a long time, and actually. In some cases, it was a little bit of bullying or like people dunking on me while I was like, I thought I was doing okay with my photography and I was getting some compliments. I was also trying to improve, but there were some people that they weren't giving constructive criticism. They were just being mean. And in some cases, some of these photos were like photos of like my sister and they were being mean about that. So that felt very, you know, that for lack of a better word, it felt very gross. It felt very icky to have those comments. There's people who don't post social media pictures of their kids or whatever for a lot of that reason and stuff like that. Sometimes you figure out that there's boundaries you set as an artist, and then you decide, okay, here's me being an artist and doing that in some isolation, or doing it for myself, or doing it for the craft. Here is what I put out into the world that I want to monetize and that I'm okay with being judged or critiqued for or trading money for, because then maybe that's not affecting my art. Because I agree with Connor's point that, like, okay, if you do something for attention, it's the same thing. If you do something for money, there are compromises that you make. So if you want to say, well, I want the purity of my art to be the most important thing to me, then I also believe that to some extent you limit how much you share it with people, because their opinions, their view, their criticism, or if you're doing it for money, are going to infect how you approach your art. But I think that you can do something you do enjoy that uses your creativity, monetize that so that you can buy freedom to do your art on your own terms. Because again, I'm not beholden to anybody when I click the shutter and I want to do art. Nobody. I don't have to care what anybody thinks. I don't have to give zero craps about what anyone thinks. But I have the freedom to do that because I'm willing to play YouTube strategically and optimize it around a certain amount of clicks, a certain amount of views. I don't even go for the most views I can. I go for a baseline of this is what's practical, what's reasonable, what I like doing, and what makes money. I'm not out here, think about it. You don't think I know how to get a gold play button in YouTube? You don't think I know how to do that? It's that there are lines I've drawn in the sand of how much I will play the game. And I make a choice every year about redrawing those lines. And there might come a point where I play the most strategic version of YouTube that I've ever played. Maybe it's today, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's 2022, maybe it's 2025 that I decide, what if I actually go as hard as I possibly can without ever like crossing ethical lines? But what if I actually say, let me give the people what they want based on what the data tells me and nothing else? And when I want to do what I want, I do it offline. And I do it for the people closest to me, and they get their acknowledgement or their praise or approval or their support. I can do that. I just haven't made that decision or made that line in the sand. But guess what? Every creator I've talked to who's made that decision, like when they decide, I'm going to literally limit my focus to what performs, they crush it every single time, every single time. Now, whether you're emotionally satisfied with that, that's when you get things like creator burnout. That's when you get people who get a gold play button, but then have a breakdown. That's why that happens. But some of them are not doing enough outside of their YouTube channel that is emotionally satisfying, that is artistically pure. They're giving too much to the audience and leaving nothing for themselves. And that's one of the things I try to caution people against, because there's a balance to be struck. There's like a balance to be struck with regard to that. And you have to make a choice about what your relationship with your art is. And that's what and sometimes you have to make something for the joy of making your art, and sometimes you have to make something that's in the best interest of the audience exclusively to grow. And that's why you can take the Saradici, like one for me, one for them on your channel, but here's the thing, you could also take it offline. The channel, your social media, your content, that could be what's for the people. That can be what's for your success. That could be what's for your money. That could be for what's for your growth. And then your offline life, you can do things that you don't have to put out into the world and say, this is the thing that I keep for myself. This is a place where I get to be as selfish and as pure an expression of myself as I want with no consequences. And then I'm blessed to do that because I put the audience first and they gave me the money and the freedom to where I get to invest wholeheartedly into my art with no consequences. That's another version of it.
I think that's a great note to wrap up this episode.
We've been going for a while.
Well, I feel like we had to make it up to like me ranting selfishly for 38 minutes. That we had to make it up to people, and we had to give them an hour of actual value.
I mean, I think the beginning was also valuable. It was just that conversation is really interesting. I think
me being angry and yelling and salty and aggressive was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. You know, it gave us a little bit of, it was our conflict. It was the ugly side of Casey's vlogs. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Nice. True.
All right. Roberto, do you want to take us out? Do you have an outro for us?
Well, actually, before I do go, I want to ask like Audrey, like what your takeaway was from like even this thing, because I know Like, and I want actually
Roberto,
Romina, you
no,
too.
I have to
Wait,
go.
Oh, Romina, you have to go. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll talk
I
later.
can tell
Okay,
you
well,
after.
you know what? Maybe next week we talk about art and we talk about balance and we make something, we talk about, because again, I think it's a conversation to have about like, well, what's meaningful to you. We'll figure out a title. We'll figure out some clickbait title. But yeah, I'll do the outro. Thank you for listening to No Something Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing. Tune in next week while we have an existential crisis about art and the meaning of life, whether or not you're doing anything meaningful with it or wasting away, living 1 second at a time in despair. And yes, that was meant to be as depressing as possible. We'll catch you next week. This has been your trio of host, starting with Audrey the Hutt, Renegade Romina, and of course, your Dark Lord of the interwebs, Roberto Blake. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next week. Nop.